Last year, we cut apart a pair of Duraderos and we held their feet to the fire. I talked a whole lot of shit about their brand and their concept and the boot and the materials, but this year they're back with a new and improved boot that they say is basically better in every possible way. So we're gonna cut this thing in half and compare it to the one we cut in half last year to really see, have they improved this? Is it a better boot? Is it a boot that's built in a way that you can actually cash in that free resole? And my biggest question is this boot worth half the price so they can justify giving you a free resole? That's what we're gonna figure out. So what is this boot? Well, the brand is Duradero. The style is the Buckhannon waterproof. They weigh 1 pound, 3.5 ounces. They retail for $235. Right now they're on sale for $209. That's what we got these ones for. They're made in the Dominican Republic, and the way they position this boot is 6-inch mock toe work boots are ideal for hard work, demanding days, and even dates. Waterproof work boots keep your feet dry no matter what, featuring the Duradero Tech membrane combined with our waffled sateen lining. This boot is 100% waterproof. With proven, tested, and guaranteed anti-water abilities, no weather can hold you back on wet, challenging job sites, not even sweat. Available in D width and triple E width, our 6-inch waterproof mock toes have exceptional toe box structure that makes our work boots stand out in the market. And if you do want a pair of these, check them out via links in my description. So now let's start going through the details and comparing what they changed and what they kept the same, starting with the leather, because this old boot was fairly dry, not the highest quality leather in the world, 2 millimeters thick, whereas this new leather is really soft and supple. You can tell there's a lot more oils worked into it. It's thicker too, at 2.5 millimeters thick. We did the burn test on both. The old leather just kind of shriveled up and burned up, whereas this new oil infused and really supple leather, it took a lot longer to burn through, and you can just feel the difference. This is a lot better leather. I also like how soft the leather is. It's one of these tumbled leather that's almost pre-broken in. And you look at the cross section of both of these, they're both full grain leather, but this new leather is just better in basically every way. It's thicker, more conditioned, more malleable, less dry, and almost like crinkly. And they say this leather itself is waterproof. So we did the waterproof test just on the leather, and I don't know if it's actually waterproof or if it's just water resistant because of the oils, but it's significantly more water resistant than the old leather. We also did the puncture test. The old pair punctured through at 140, the new pair punctured at 103. So a little less puncture resistant, but we've seen a trend there in the really oiled leathers. It almost lubricates the puncture through. And so even though it's a thicker, hardier leather, I think that's where you get the test result difference between a dry leather and a really oiled leather. So right off the bat, significantly better just from the leather alone. But if you start looking at the inside, what have they changed? Well, we have two different versions. This is the waterproof version. This is the non-waterproof version. And so it's hard to directly compare it, but I wanted to show both because a lot of people need the waterproof boots for work. And this is just has your typical waterproof lining. It's that chevron, like moisture wicking fabric that's usually backed by a waterproof membrane. So we'll see when we get it cut in half if it's a membrane or how it's waterproof. The old ones, had a leather heel counter and some fabric in the toe. It really was not that bad. It's pretty decent, especially for the price. And if we pull out the insoles, this is a little Merrimack insole. So Merrimack's known for making insoles and outsoles. Merrimack probably made the same outsole actually. And comparing it to the old one, they're fairly similar. The old one is maybe a little bit thicker and has a little more squish. They're both fabric top, both a similar density of foam. But we did the ball drop test on both, and the old one bounced up 8 inches, the new one bounced up 10.5. So it seems like it's a more responsive foam, giving you a little more impact resistance, a little more rebound. And so it is a marginally better insole, just based off that test result, but it's still just a foam insole. But what I really like about this is they started to emphasize how wide their boots are. Because I don't think their old boots were nearly as wide. I think they've widened them since, because this is surprisingly wide just from how it looks. But if you look at the insole and you compare this to any other work boot, and it is actually wider. It's a pretty substantial width. And I think this is just a regular D width. So if this isn't wide enough, they even have a triple E width that's super, super wide. Is it fully anatomical like a barefoot boot? No, it still has that almond-y kind of shape to it, but they're very wide. Then underneath the insole is the real crux of this for me, because my biggest gripe with this when they first launched these and the first time we cut them was it's just hard cardboard and a felted material for a $200 boot. It's not the worst thing. We saw it in a couple other boots in a similar price range, but the problem with this is it's just more prone to delaminating. Literally, if I just go like this, you can see how those layers start coming apart and start delaminating. And that was my biggest gripe with this, is like, how are you gonna get a free resole on this if the internal components aren't strong enough to warrant a resole? Maybe they just send you a new boot, but the whole business model is to have them resoled. So how does it compare to the new Duradero? Well, it's fully wrapped underneath the insole, so we'll have to wait till we get it cut in half. And I hope that that's what they've changed. And as for the midsole and outsole, they basically look the same. You've got that harder midsole, that's that bright orange going through. You've got what looks like a Merrimack polyurethane foam outsole. The new one feels a little bit softer though. If we do a durometer test on the new outsole, it comes at 32 Shore A, whereas the old one comes at a 43. So they've softened up the outsole too. And with that new softer compound in the outsole, we did the bar drop test. The old one bounced up 6 inches. The new one bounced up 5 inches. So you lose a little bit of that responsiveness from this extra squish you get from a softer compound. But for me, I'd rather have a little extra squish and lose just a little bit of that durability, especially if it comes with a free resole, because once you wear the outsole out, you just get a free resole. And I'm pretty sure it's still a Goodyear welt. You know, I pull this upper aside and you can see the stitches on the inside. I doubt it's a true sidewall stitch here. Most of the time you see this, especially on a synthetic welt like this one is instead of a leather welt. That's usually fake. 99% chance it's fake, but we don't know for sure. So now let's cut these in half, see if they fix this problem to make these actually resolable, and what else they've changed on the inside to back up their claim of this being a significantly better boot. This is all of our boot accessories that we've slowly developed over like the last 4 years as we've done more and more boot reviews and realized how many things are missing in the market. So be sure to check out all these below. They make great gifts, self gifts, and it's a huge way that you can help support the channel. So check them out below. All right, we got it cut in half, and if you're not subscribed, consider pushing that subscribe button, hit the like button, check out our handmade leather goods, our collaborations, because that's how we can afford to buy brand new stuff just to cut in half, to hold these brands accountable. And a really cool aspect of this is a lot of brands that we talk about, they just never want to see us again. They hate us. They send us scathing emails. But on occasion, when you find a brand that's actually trying to make high quality stuff, that's not just trying to milk money out of the blue collar bros, they double down and come back and say, we've made it better. We've improved every aspect of this boot, put it to the test. You gotta respect. So now let's see what's inside Duradero. This looks way better. It's like a whole new boot because you can see instead of that cheap compressed cardboard and that felted material that crinkles and starts popping, you've got the classic way of building this price point of boot, a big slab of fiberboard. And this fiberboard basically acts like leather. It's a lot closer to leather than compressed cardboard because it doesn't delaminate quite as much, breaks in more like leather, it has more durability like leather. It's not quite as durable as leather, but it breaks in faster than leather. And so that's why you see this price point of boot, they have a lot of this because this slab is really that structural piece that holds the whole boot together when you go to get this resoled. So if it's a weaker material like this, there's a chance it's gonna fail. And like obviously I didn't resole 100 of these to see what failed and what didn't, but I'm willing to bet just about anything that this is gonna be a lot easier to resole, a lot more durable, a lot better feeling underfoot. And the cool thing of this is this boot's just over $200 and it comes with that free resole. So now that we've seen everything, is this new version actually significantly better, improved all those little things and made this boot what it should have been? I think they did. You know, you got significantly better leather, you got the waterproof lining, better counter materials, you've got a way better lasting material. That was the big crux for me. A softer midsole. Basically every component that needed to be upgraded, they upgraded. So with all those improvements from the old pair that I had concerns about if they'd even last to get that free resole, is this boot high quality enough, durable enough, the right materials to actually cash in that free Duradero resole? Yes, because if you compare this boot to other boots in a similar price range that don't come with a free resole, it's already a good contender. It already stacks up well against the competition. So adding that free resole on top, doubling the life of your boot, starts to make sense. You know, this did not make a lot of sense to me. This starts to become a really, really good value. But we haven't tested them. I haven't had 100 pairs out there being tested to see how long they actually last, but everything points to it being a significantly better boot that will last through a resole. You gotta give it up to Duradero. They took it on the chin, they took the criticism, they improved their product, and now the end consumer gets a significantly better product because Duradero was willing to do that when we held their feet to the fire and we called them out. Duradero is clearly trying to make good boots, not just boots to sell and cash out and make a bunch of money off blue collar $100 bros. So let me know what you think, and if you think this is high enough quality to last through resole, how do you think this stacks up to the competition, and what do you think of the Duradero free resole model? So thank you guys for watching. Check out our handmade leather goods that we make right here in the shop. Check out our collaborations, give us a sub. That's how we're able to afford to do this type of thing, to hold these brands accountable, but more importantly, show you guys what you're actually spending your hard-earned money on. So thank you guys. See ya.